Welcome back to Sloppy's Weeb Corner. Sorry if there's background noise. I have the window open because it is very hot in this room. Welcome back, and we're doing another manga review. And today I'm going to be reviewing Junji Ito's most recent manga, Remina, or I think it's pronounced Remina. It's like the easiest way I know, or it's Remina, but I think it's pronounced Remina, so that's what we're going with. This actually was released very recently, a few weeks to a month ago, I believe. It's about $23 United States, 32 Canadian dollars, and about 20 pounds in the UK. This manga is fucking insane. It's nuts, and I was so excited to read it. It takes place in kind of a futuristic world, still within the 2000s. It doesn't give an exact date. It does the regular, like, 20XX. It's like the year 20XX. It keeps the number year hidden. But it's, like, really, it's kind of a futuristic type world, as you can tell from some of the buildings on the cover here. They have like discs and such. Oh yeah, this is one of the cover. This is what, like, the back cover, the inside of the back cover looks like. So it's got a tentacle, and it looks like that's gonna be a lot of fun. It's basically about this. I'm gonna give a light synopsis. I'll go into spoiler territory later. It's about this planet that is discovered. This planet has been named Remina after the scientist's daughter, which is this gal, Remina. And this planet starts traveling around. It doesn't have like a orbit, so it's basically just going around to different planets and stars, and figuratively and literally eating them in its path. And then once the planet starts targeting Earth, the information gets out to the citizens of the world, and if you know how humans act in dire and practically helpless situations, that's basically kind of how that's essentially what this is about. It's basically like kind of what happens. The ending is actually fairly ambiguous. It doesn't have a good ending or really a bad ending. It has a hopeful ending, I'll put it. That's fairly different for some of Ito's stories that we've looked at on the channel, like especially from the ones from the Shiver book, like for the main characters. That's something a little bit out. Hopeful endings aren't really one of the bigger things that you can see in a lot of his short stories, or some of his novels, in fact. The art in this was phenomenal, as it always is for Ito's like books and short stories. This one is actually the shortest one of his novels. Really, I'm trying to film. This is actually one of the shorter ones of his novels. It's not actually as long as books like Gyo or Uzumaki. I really like that, on how there's like a very wide variety in length, and as I stated, holy fuck, this art is phenomenal. Again, they both penned and inked by Ito himself. He knocked it out of the park again. It just keeps going and going and going, and the main character, you really want her to catch a break, but for a very, very long chunk of it, she just keeps going through hell repeatedly by the people of Japan. And I think one of the cool things about it, this is kind of a lighter type of spoiler. I'm not going to give exactly the context of what happens. Let me see if I can find the page. There's one that I really enjoyed. It's really, really simple, but it's also just really, really cool on showing the scope of how fucking nuts humanity has become. Yeah, here it is. It's only about 4 or 5 chapters long, but this is what I really like, because you have multiple languages in this one section. They've got like Russian, some other language I don't understand. I think that's Spanish, actually. Like maybe Chinese, and then you got English up in the corner and around. I think that's a really really cool depiction of a worldwide apocalypse scenario where everyone's basically gathering together because of one big catastrophe, and you have just such a big group of people there that speak so many different languages. I think it's a really cool thing, I guess, viewpoint to show. I honestly, I think about the cover that I noticed originally that I thought was actually a mistake, but until like I started reading it, I realized, oh wait, no, that's not supposed to be there, because it goes from like the glossy, typical hardcover that you expect, but then again, the spine is coated in a paper, in a paper, like paper. Yeah, I really like that. I think that's like a really nice little specialty detail. There's a lot of fingerprints on this, so I'm just wiping it down. Keep it clean. But yeah, that's basically it. In a non-spoiler sense, I'm gonna up it from 10, because if it's just 5, a lot of them are gonna be 3s, 4s, and a few 5s. Aside from Kakigiri, there's probably not gonna be that many less than 2 or 3. So for this one, I think I'll give it 7.5 out of 10, because I really wanted more, but there wasn't as much as I was expecting. I was hoping that it'd be like double the size, kind of like the size of Kaiji, or a little bit near the page length of something like Gyo or the Shiver compilation book that we have previously reviewed. Like this, I thought it was gonna be like more of this size, and it actually isn't. It's a lot shorter, which is nice because I can actually go back and reread this a few times a day if I really tried. So I think that's a really nice thing. And a little bit of news before I get into spoiler territory. A little bit of news. I have my copy of the next volume of Kaiji pre-ordered. So once it arrives, I will read it promptly and then do a review once I finish. Yeah, now we'll get into spoiler territory, because this is new and I like talking about it. So spoiler territory for Remina. This is your final warning. So I'm going to restate the earlier plot, the synopsis style thing that I gave earlier. Basically, it's about this planet that goes around eating other planets and some stars as it passes them, and uses a big fucking tentacle to literally grab and eat them through its mouth. I know. It's pretty fucking wild. There's basically this scientist sees the planet, discovers it through this wormhole. Actually, it actually started at a wormhole. Another example of the fucking amazing art that is just in this. It's great. The scientist discovers it via this wormhole's existence. This planet essentially helps prove the wormhole's existence, which makes him a lot of money and makes him really, really famous. And what he decides to do is name the planet, which he thinks is originally a star, until it starts moving. He decides to name it after his daughter, Remina. And that gives her a lot of media attention, which she doesn't like, because she's a fairly shy person, pretty typical horror protagonist. Shit. What was I gonna say? Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. Yeah, it's too long, so I can't restart this video. Basically, what happens is that he names the planet after his daughter, and then it comes out that the planet has stopped moving after eating a few planets already, and it starts entering the Earth's solar system that we live in, and then it starts eating a lot of the planets around the Earth, starting with the gas giants and the dwarf planets and such. And once they start disappearing, it gets out it's leaked to the media, as every important thing does. And once people start discovering it, that's when all the big amount of panic hits. It doesn't really start off as a small little like tinder. It's not like really. It's kind of like a fire hitting a tinderbox. Instead of like going along the line of twine to get to it, it kind of basically just the information gets leaked, and it's like dropping a a Molotov cocktail in a big thing of gasoline or a tinderbox. It just goes up like that, and I think it's a really nice detail to add instead of just having the people live in uncertainty for a few weeks, and then some of the more information gets out that it's eating planets, then it's heading towards Earth, and then that's when people start like going insane and such. I like that it starts almost instantaneously. I really think that's a nice detail to add. It kind of makes the situation a little bit more realistic from my viewpoint. I know some others would disagree, and I'd be like, no, it should be trailed out a little bit more. And I agree that it could have been trailed out a little bit more, but the fact that it starts almost instantaneously once the information gets out, I actually really like that change, and I like that idea much better than the really typical one that you see all the time where it starts to, waft around kind of, but once you see it, that's when people start going crazy, unless you're the movie 2012. And I like that once it eats like Mars, that's when the information starts to really get out, because it's like we think it's eating planets, and it's like, oh no, and then once Mars is eaten, that's when it shows like the true like beginnings of the like terror and chaos that is soon to follow. And since the planet's named after the daughter Remna, people start believing that the scientists predicted it. That must be why he and Remna, they're calling the planet. Once we kill them, we'll be saved. So it really delves into that thought that some people actually might have in this sort of scenario, and they go to the point where they literally make crosses in the plaza center to kill Remna and her father. And I know it sounds really kind of weird, but I actually like how dedicated in a sense they are to their cause. I know it's cause in quotes, but one of the things I like is that they actually send a ship out to Remna. I know one of the things I like, I'm gonna say that a million times in this, they send a ship out to look at Remna because they think it's a normal planet, but Remna is a fucking living thing. And that's kind of what it seems like to me, because it has a literal eye on it. It eats with tentacles that open from essentially its mouth. And so it goes from like the planet's gonna crash and collide into Earth to what the hell is gonna happen, because this planet is going to collide and he's going to eat Earth essentially. It's like what it seems like. And one of the cool things is that it shows like the representation. Oh my god, I sound like such an asshole. But it shows the fact that these things might actually happen, and it starts with like a literal cult dude who ends up to be a part of Remna's fan club. The president of her official fan club goes insane because she likes the manager that got her into show business instead of him. And so it literally just ends up being him and another person that end up running this cult. And I know it's big spoiler, but I gave you a warning. And I really like that how it kind of leaves on the ambiguous note of that this about Remna and this guy. So I need to explain this, or else I'm just going to call him this guy. So this family that runs, I believe it was the sponsor for Remna, a lot of Remna's show business, talk shows, and careers. They are so rich that they have this really souped up underground bunker in case situations like this. And one of the sons of this family wanted to become an astronaut. And one of the astronauts on the mission's first name matches that of the son. And so the father starts bragging to everyone, "Oh, my son the astronaut. He's on the mission." There was no way I was going to avoid that joke. I'm sorry. Basically he starts bragging to everyone that his son the astronaut is on this is like heading this mission when he really isn't, because the son decided to split with the family because he wanted to go and become an astronaut, but the family was like really against that, and so he split and went to go be an astronaut on his own. But he tells Remna this, and it turns out that his career failed as an astronaut. He didn't succeed. Stop it! I'm trying to record. Leave me alone. So basically what happens is that his career fails and he ends up becoming a homeless dude. Which I think is kind of a cool thing to show that not every single human in this situation is another nutcase. And so basically Remna finds him on accident by trying to find a place to hide. and he's literally like he's been living like next near the house for years, like under this bridge near the house. And so what happens is that they both get carried to the plaza center. They both get found out fairly quickly, and get like carried to the plaza center to be sacrificed to the planet Remna to try and appease the planet. Which again, I actually like. I like it how Junji Ito doesn't pull back and actually shows some of this shit, because it seems like it considering the scenario, it's actually kind of a realistic idea that people would go this far to appease their one belief. Oh my god, 15 minutes, Jesus. Basically, they get caught and they get strung up and they start literally beating them. It's like nearly to death. And then at one point, they basically literally hang them on crosses, essentially on top of Remna's dad, who's right here and dead. Because he was sacrificed, and now they have to sacrifice Remna. But then I believe it was like a tsunami, like the tentacle of Remna pierces the atmosphere, and it just hits the ocean, and it like starts this hectic like shit show of destroying the area around it. Excuse me. And the cult leader goes to try and kill Remna to try and stop everything, but of course he misses. And it basically just like fucks up the entirety of the area. And at one point it starts this tsunami, and that essentially what that's kind of what frees Remna and the hobo from their situation. And now on the other side of the story, the B plot, I guess we can call it, the family of the hobo has purchased tickets in very similar fashion. I know, I'm saying that a lot. This family purchases tickets to this rocket ship that's going to fly them to Remna to land and live on, because they keep receiving signals from the astronaut mission team that's there to collect information. And because of that, they assume immediately, oh, they're okay. They've been up there for, I guess, a week. They're okay. That means it's okay for us to go there. Okay. And so they fly to Remna, and little do they know, the air on Remna and the atmosphere is incredibly toxic and literally melts people. Which is fucking bonkers. I know, it's kind of a weird thing to say. And once they melt, they literally like assimilate with the planet, and it just like creates another tentacle out of its mouth. And it basically just shows that the people who chose to do this, they done fucked up. And it doesn't show all of them dying, which I think is kind of a cool thing. It just shows that they're in this literally helpless situation, which they are going to die. And since we can assume that, and it's fairly obvious, it doesn't need to tell us that they're going to die, because we can tell that we can see that it's going to happen considering their situation. They only have like 2 days of oxygen in their spacesuits. The atmosphere melts, and you literally can't breathe on this planet. They are going to die either a slow and painful death, or an incredibly quick yet still incredibly painful death. So it just kind of shows that these arrogant assholes who think that they're safe are pretty boned. Now back to the main plot. Remna and the homeless man at this point, the tentacle of the planet Remna has literally hit the earth and spun it like a basketball. Like if you ever spun a ball and it just keeps spinning over and over again until you like, either stop it, or after about a minute it falls over. That's essentially what happens. That's kind of that's what's happening to Earth. Meaning that the gravity, and it causes like the gravity to basically become like a hella ton less. And due to this, they can literally just jump from building to building, like with no issue. They can like jump over multiple buildings from one, which also is a cool thing to show, even though it doesn't have anything to do with death or murder. And at one point, they find this small little, I wouldn't call it a group because it's like 3 people, that they find like 2 kids. I know, calm down. They find like an adult who had met up with 2 kids in this. That's basically them. This is Remna. This is a homeless dude. He's like the kids, and then these are like 2 other big old people, adults. kind of. And essentially, they decided to go back to the shelter because of that rocket ship. They're most likely on that ship. So the homeless man, who turns out to be the real son of the one that tried to become an astronaut. I just poked myself in the eye. Oh fuck! The son that tried to become an astronaut. He was the son. I just said that several times now. And he basically got everyone into that shelter area, and now they're living there. And the entire thing is there's only enough supplies to last them. I believe it said a year or two. Let me double check, because it shouldn't take very long. Fuck, I'm scrolling back. Yeah, just a singular year. They have like about a year left. And basically, it's kind of left ambiguous. Do they find safety? Do they like find a miracle? Do they not? But considering that Remina has eaten everything in its path, and that doesn't seem like there's anything left, and they're moving at a snail's pace in space, it doesn't look that good. But their fate has kind of left unknown from just reading this alone. Now I'm gonna have to wait for the new episode of the Junji Ito collection anime to fuck this up. And that has been my review on Remina, with spoilers included. I actually really like this. I really enjoyed this, and as I said multiple times throughout this video, the art it's fucking phenomenal. Junji Ito just killed it. Killed it again. Like, goddamn, it's phenomenal. Like, look at some of this shit. Like, that's the planet's mouth with fucking teeth, and that's the Earth being eaten. Like, look at that shit. It's fucking gnarly. I love it. So yeah, that has been Remina. The more in-depth one I've given, I will give it a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. Yeah. Onto the shelf you go. Da, 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 da. Slowly building a collection of physical manga. We're on our way. We're on our way. We got this. So yeah, that has been my review of Remina. As I said in the in-depth one, 7.5 stars out of 10. I hope you liked it. If you choose to go read it, I will include a link to the Amazon page in the description below, so you can go ahead and immediately buy it. And yeah, that has been the review. Yeah, I said that. I already said that. But that has been this video's review of Remina. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'll include a Amazon link in the description below so you can go off and buy it yourself. If you liked it, let me know by leaving a like on the channel. I hate saying that. And let me know what other mangas you wanna mangas or animes even. I am working on anime reviews. It just takes a little while because the streaming services that are legal are assholes with screenshots. So it's very difficult to weave around that and get good screenshots to show you in the videos. So yeah, I hope you liked it. My name is Slap Your Minx. I'm glad you enjoyed your time in the Weeb Corner. I will see you next time. Probably next week, maybe. Most likely, because that's the schedule we're working off of. But I want to do I want to do 2 videos. I want to start amping it up to 2 videos a week. Because the pain of waiting, because I record in mass. I record about 4, it's like sometimes like 2 or 3. Recently I did 4, I think 5 in one sitting, which I actually like doing. It's a lot easier to record in mass than just get it, put on the t-shirt, put on the jacket, put on the hat, move my hair, and then, because I don't do anything with my hair, I legit just like flip it and then move it and then clean it the side, throw on the hat, sure, we're good to go. But I don't like the wait time, so I'm gonna try amping up to 2 a week, which is gonna mean I'm probably gonna run out of physical manga to show you. Until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed your time in the Weeboo Corner. Thank you for stopping by. I will see you next time with another anime or manga review. Bye-bye.